Right, let's see if I can get the chat up. How are we doing, people? Let me just hopefully. Here we go. Let's just check this. Here we go. Let's just check this. Live. How are we doing? That sounds fine. Good, good, good. All right, it's a few minutes late, I think. Yeah, sorry about that, people. So what I plan to do today is just have a little look at some of the things I've added to 2D6 Legendary Dungeon in the last week or two. David, good to see you. And maybe look at the polls. I put up 3 questions. I did them pretty quick, so they're probably not that great, but because I know how people can analyse these questions. Talahar, how you doing? Ahoy. Ahoy there, sir. Mark. Yes, the email was going to be sent out, but believe it or not, we had to go. We did our shopping this evening, right? And we've only been back about 10 minutes, and I give myself plenty of time to do it, but the scanning device that we had. You won't believe this. Sounds like I'm just making it up, but it's true. The scanner, right, it stopped working right at the end of the shop, so we had to scan everything in, and we buy a lot of stuff at the supermarket. So Graham, Mark, how you doing? Star Glider. So I didn't get a chance to send an email, which is annoying. But what I have been doing, Mark, I hope you noticed, is I've been putting an update on the YouTube channel, so I can do like a post, and it kind of gives an update other than Facebook. So there are other ways. If you're subscribed to me on YouTube, you will see the post updates. Jeff, good to see you. Yeah. So I just what I wanted to do this evening was just talk a little bit about a couple of things that we've added in to 2D6 Legendary Dungeon, which is going to hopefully excite people, and that's how I find out exactly. So that's what I'm doing. So I have I have been sending emails to people, usually 90% of the time. And I think the thing is, I don't know whether people pay any attention to those emails. Well, obviously, Mark, you do, but it doesn't ever seem to affect the viewing numbers. So I don't know what the situation is with that. I'll carry on with that next week as well. So I had to purge a lot of the stuff on my computer as well recently. So I've got to get the list up again and sort that out for those folks. Talahar, I've received a lovely package, so thank Joe for that. No problem, Talahar. It got over there to you, did it? You're probably operating under your real name, so you probably don't recognise. But hopefully you got a nice note in there as well. If you didn't, I apologise. Yes, all the way from sunny Cambridge. Boy, is it sunny at the moment. It's really nice. Yes, so I have one on my kitchen table that I'm yet to open. This week's been hectic. Oh yeah, David. Yep, there's something special in there for you, my friend. Yes. So again, we're deep in that development stage at the moment. Facebook avatar is now the same as my YouTube avatar to make it easier. That does help. I mean, they're so small, I can just about make out it's like South Park type character, as we talked about before. But yeah. David, you were in Paris, weren't you? Weren't you in Paris? With your jet setting? Your travels? Yes, Paris. I love Paris. Well, I love the museums in Paris. Put it that way. No, I love the place. Ah, yes. Yeah, it is lovely. Was that your first time? So, some of you will have seen the polls. If you haven't, there's 3 poll questions on the Facebook page that you can have a look at. Again, I'll run through them, but you know, I don't know what they're going to reveal about the ecosystem that is board games and the market. So, you know, anybody else got any summer holidays planned? Come on, there's got to be some. Usually we fly out somewhere usually, but this year we're not. We're going camping, which we do every sort of 3 or 4 years. We quite like to camp. But then we do it once and we're like, right, yeah, we prefer staying in a resort or a hotel or a cottage. We've always, Joe and I, we did a lot of camping when we were younger. So it's sort of part of our DNA. Fuerteventura. Is that how you say that? Fuerteventura, Graham says. Fuerteventura. Camping in this weather? Ugh. Star glider. What are you talking about? It's lovely weather. Camping in Wales this August for a week. Then I'm off to Vienna. Woo! David. Camping is fun when the day ends back at the hotel. Yeah. Nice one, Jeff. Yeah. No, I am camping in this economy. Excellent choice, says Talha. Yeah, that's partly it. That's partly why we're doing it. You know, it is cheaper, but tend to eat out a bit more. Maybe, I don't know. It is a good choice. Next year I think next year we'll go overseas somewhere nice. Maybe towards the end of the year we may pop out somewhere. Who knows? Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about this Legendary Dungeon. Some of the lads have been doing some work on it for me. Now, this version I'm going to quickly go through and show you some bits. Hasn't been updated, Jeff and Mark. So if you spot things which you will have corrected, I haven't done that yet because I've been trying to get level 5 done, which has been a little bit tougher than I thought it would be. Especially seeing I've had a couple of things get in the way. Like we had our wedding anniversary, so I lost a day there of work. So yeah, there are a few things in here. I mean, it's largely we've gone over this numerous times, so there aren't too many mistakes as in yet, but I wanted to just highlight a couple of things that will hopefully get the blood going for the release, which is getting closer. So obviously, I wanted level 5 done for the end of June, but we're obviously well into July now, and I'm like a day off finishing that. So hopefully tomorrow. I mean, talking about the weekend, we have a wedding at the weekend, so we're leaving tomorrow about 12. But I'm going to probably get it finished in the morning. So yeah, we've had a few things get in the way. I guess it's partly that time of the year as well, isn't it? You know, people are having parties, and been to Paris once, saw Iron Maiden in concert there. Fantastic. That's really cool. Right. So let's have a quick skirt through here. We've got got to update. There's a few other people that have sent a few comments, so I've got to put a few more names on the playtester page there. We've got some bits and pieces here. Now I haven't, as I say, haven't finished updating this. So there's a couple of people that have asked me for this, and who was it? One of the guys wanted to test it, and I haven't been able to send it to him yet. I feel really bad, and I can't remember who it was because I'm terrible. So one of the things that I've been thinking about with the game is character progression. All right, Jeff's made some really insightful comments about this, and for me, it was always about the story and the experience. But of course, the character progression is important. In the first game, you have experience, and you gain, 10 HP when you go up a level. Paul, that is you. Yes, that would be good. Paul, it was you. There's always some. It was Paul. Of course, it was Paul. South Park Avatar 2. Yes, I will. I will get it out to you, Paul. I just reading the chat there. So one of the things is spectral energy. It's a resource. Okay, you can use it in numerous ways. Well, more ways now. So when you kill a creature, you get spectral points. So, for example, you kill a stone silex, you will get focus. You get 3 points. Oh my god. Hello? You get 3 points. So, Paul, I'll get that out to you, by the way. So you get that, and then you can spend that. You can spend that on stuff like powers, but if you save those up, there are a number of things you can do with it. So you can. No problem, David. No problem. You can increase your health. So you can spend 10 spectral points once per dungeon level to increase your health base by 10, leaving your health baseline like leveling up. So you can up your health, okay, as you go deeper into this dungeon by a maximum of 50 points, 10 per level, if you spend the 10 spectral points. Okay. There are also spectral powers. So, as well as increasing your HP baseline, you can also gain permanent spectral powers. Now, we'll have a look at those. They're at the back of the book. They're bought using spectral points, which is the same way as you would do increasing the health. The powers aren't level specific, and they will grant you certain abilities. So we'll have a look at those when we get further down in the book. So just bearing that in mind. So 1, you can increase your health. 2, you can buy spectral powers, permanent powers. And 3, you can cast the spells that are in the spectral lexicon. Okay, which you can see in a bit more detail here. But there's also another power. Okay, so another usage for it. And that is spectral inventive usage. So this is, we have inventive usage normally. So you have a situation where you need to improvise something that would help you cross a space or climb a wall or make something. Okay, improvise a tool. You will have items and you can make that up as you go along. But with the spectral inventive usage, you can spend 1 point to magically enhance something, to enhance the inventive usage of your character. So what this is, hello Matt, how you doing? So what this is basically is expanding out that function of inventive usage, allowing you to use magical energy to exceed the normal limits of your character. Okay, so you've got to apply common sense, and you cannot materialize physical objects though, which includes food, water, and fire. You also cannot repair armor or multiply objects such as armor, gems, or coins. Now, I probably, as Mark pointed out very sensibly, I probably need to expand examples so people don't take advantage of this. But as I say, it's the common sense element to it. It shouldn't be as powerful as casting a power or a spell or one of your permanent powers. So that is the fourth thing you can use your spectral points for. So there are a whole range of things. Also, spectral points can be used in rooms when you have faced challenges, and the description of the text explains to you that there is a problem here. But if you spend some power points, then you can avoid it or reduce the damage that you may experience through a trap or a situation in the room that you're actually at the time. So so that's part of this. Is one of the key changes to the rules. This is from some observations, from some ideas. We've got some new art going in here as well. So that magic section has expanded out. Now, I would say for people watching this back that if you're thinking, I'm not so keen on the magic element, it isn't compulsory to use the magic spells. You could have it as a goal for yourself to move through the dungeon without casting any spells if you wanted. Perfectly feasible. You can do that given the situation. Now, there are obviously scrolls, and there are further potions and that you can get, and there are other things that you can do which can replace that. Yeah, Jeff says good luck with that. That is the ultimate badass mode. Complete the legendary dungeon without casting any spells. That would be fantastic. Yeah. So it's really exciting. Jeff's helped with some of these ideas as well, which is fantastic. Thank you, Jeff. I just think that this is the development. This is the element. Now, another thing as well. This is a moment in the adventurer's life. They are infused with this power that's in the dungeon. They don't carry this through to other adventures after. Okay, so there isn't this thing where you finish this dungeon and you come out with all these superpowers and you're superhuman. That isn't the case at all. The energy exists within the dungeon, and the evolving story kind of explains a bit more why that is. I just noticed you have other names back in chat. No more YouTube tags. Just noticed you have our names back. Oh, were they YouTube? Muggle mode. Nice one, David. I like that. Muggle mode challenge. Very cool. Had it changed before? I don't know. I put a little bit more about Caladir in here and who she is. A bit more about that. Yeah, so that's largely that's the main change for the magic side of things. I'm just scrolling down here as we go through. Right, readying the character. Now this is a big part of it. Oh, right. Oh, okay. Well, that's weird. I hadn't changed it. Well, YouTube have been updating this chat, haven't they? I think they're realising that maybe more people are getting involved with what YouTube is, and maybe they want to try and make it a better service, potentially. Who knows? I know that sounds like a bit of a joke, but... So, the character creation... One of the hurdles to playing 2d6 Legendary Dungeon is that you need a level 10 character. Okay. Now, in my mind, it isn't the main difficulty of that is if you haven't got one, you've got to create one. So, Lord of Fake, how are you doing? Good to see you. Maybe I misremembered from a different channel. Maybe Talha. I don't remember it. That would have really confused me. I definitely would have remembered that. Yeah, the tags, those tags things, I don't know. Maybe that comes into play with pro streams more. I mean, there's a kind of fervour for hundreds of people wanting to get priority in the chat. Maybe, I don't know. That could be part of what it's about. So you've got the instructions here to make the character. It's a bit of a step. Once you get past that, it's fine. But what I wanted to do to sort of help with that situation was by including a character. Let me just scroll down here. So we have a pre-generated character here. We've added this in. So rather than it's not David's pulling out the cultural references this evening. Yes, freedom. Anyway, so we have a character sheet here, which is one you can just pick up and make, and you have an average character with Shadowbane as the weapon, and you've got 2 sheets. You need to print out the other 2 sheets, but it's got what you need here. And what you'll notice with these character sheets as well is I've made a slight tweak to the layout. So now we have a section for spectral powers, and that is where you will be writing those permanent powers, not the lexicon powers, but the permanent powers. So that is important. Is it an iron? Isn't that? I'm not a number. I'm a free man. Isn't that like that black and white sci-fi TV show as well? Something like that. The Prisoner. Yes, The Prisoner. That's what I thought. I knew that. We've been to the place where they film it, where they filmed it. So you've got slight change, slight alteration to the character sheet. So again, as with any sort of development of a game, we've been adding things. Yes, that's the place, David. Yeah, and yeah, I've also added in a few more additional important points to read first. We have a new thing called time echo sequences, which are time replaying through a series of rooms. Do you know, like the room sequences in the main dungeon, where you get in and you get locked into a sequence for like a few rooms? Well, we got a slightly new, updated version of that for the dungeon. It's kind of, because it draws upon the kind of creation of the dungeon, then it's slightly different. So I've named it slightly differently, but it works pretty much the same way. So we've got they're called time echo sequences, and yeah. So those are some of the little tweaks. So we'll scoot down here to the. Got some of the monsters. There'll be a better table. You can see it there, but there will be a better table. And then for each level, you have a page or two of text, because some of each level has a little bit of a descriptive intro to sort of show, to set the scene, and also for you to pick up the first object, which will help you in your quest. So, and talking about the levels, and we talked about the magic. Well, there's also looking at the combat system and the shift system. One of the things that happens in the dungeon as you go deeper is there is a magical pressure, almost like going deep under the sea. The pressure becomes more intense for each level. So from level 3 or level 2, well, from one of the levels you start with -1 shift, then -2, then -3. So by the time you get down to the 5th level, you are on 1 shift as a permanent, unless you have other means by which you can increase your shift level. There are also ways your armor can be damaged as well. So there are lots of difficult things which are going to make this a real challenge. So we're tightening the screws on the thumb screw. So let's go down to the spectral lexicon. Here we go. Right, so we have a selection of powers. Now I've shown these off. Under pressure. I think that's been like done a trillion, downloaded a trillion times on Spotify. Yeah, David Bowie, legend. Those two wrote that song. They wrote that song in a day. They just came together. They didn't exactly click, Freddie and David, and they were kind of like they fell out actually after that period. Over I think David Bowie did some backing vocals on a song, and there was some issue with it or some debate about it, something like that. And but they came together, wrote it together in a day, and you just think that is such an amazing song. If they had spent more time making music together, what other wonderful things could they have created? Yeah, there's probably a fair few. As Talahar points out, there's another song by Billy Joel, Pressure. But there's probably a fair few songs with the pressure in them, especially new songs, I'd imagine, in today's society. Yeah, so we've got some other powers here, like Halt Transformation, Poison Nullifier, Resonating Barrier. There are a whole range of powers there. I haven't done too many. I didn't want to make it too... Blah, how you doing? Blah loves that Billy Joel song. And then we've got what I've added in. Some very sensible feedback from Jeff was when he was playing, and this is something I'd like to know from other people that have been playing, testing. Did they struggle to find the semi-precious stones to cast the spells? Because I feel like maybe that might be a bit of an issue, especially on the first level. So I've added in a couple of spectral powers you can cast that don't require components. They cost less, they have less effect, but at least you can use your spectral energy for something. Yeah. Once I'll be doing some more playthroughs of the Legendary Dungeon once we iron this out a little bit more. Yeah, these you can use if what you mean is once you've cast it you can't cast it again. No, you can cast it, keep casting it if you like, but you will be spending spectral points, and you have a limited supply of spectral points, so they're there for you to choose from, because the energy is flowing through you and the dungeon, so you can access it. So hope that is what you mean. There's also a section now in the spectral lexicon for permanent spectral powers. So there are fewer of these. Elemental extraction, and they're more kind of functional. Healing, pulse, merge crystal, nature's recall. So these are like merge crystal allows you to merge two crystals together, or maybe I should change that to semi-precious stones on there. Actually, let me do it and make a note of that. These are new, so there's more chance of these having a slight need a slight tinkering. Merge crystals, making a note. Crystals to semi-precious stones. And so if you've got an amber and a quartz, you can merge them together and make a lapis lazuli, for example. So there are... Yeah, it's kind of like you use it once, and then that's the spell cast, and you've spent the power to do it. And we also got like nature's recall. There are usage conditions for these permanent powers, so once per room, say, for the merge crystal. Nature's recall, you can summon a herb when you're near water, so which could be very useful given the circumstance of the dungeon. Nullifying condition. So this one's handy to remove the poisoned condition, or the soaked, or the blooded condition. So you can, like, removing conditions. It's about giving access to certain aspects of the game. So making potion bombs, making healing stuff, being able to cast spells, mixing herbs and making healing remedies, say for example. So there's that's all part of it. So this is a design mechanism, isn't it, to really facilitate smoother play, sort of make people feel like they're empowered when they play rather than frustrated. That's kind of like that's one of the things you have to really try and balance when you're designing systems like this. You have to think, right, well, I've given them that ability, but can they use it in game? Are they given the right opportunity to do so? And so really that's where I'm coming from when we're looking at stuff like this. So when I'm designing bits and pieces like that. So yeah. So that's really where we're at. Now, as far as the writing goes, as I was saying, I'm just finishing level 5. That will be done. So we're moving forward, and this month it's all about making sure all the layout is correct. So, and going to be working hard on that next week. So some spectral spells have a permanent effect, and some have a single effect, and then it's gone. So the permanent, so the distinction is, if you have a permanent power, it doesn't have a component, okay, and it's free once you've spent the spectral powers to get it, the permanent power. But the spectral powers are spells, the individual ones. And you're right, there's a certain crossover, isn't it? But you've got to think about the permanent aspect to it, whereas the spectral spells are like you cast. They just cast. I was trying to avoid calling the spectral spells because I felt like they were more... I didn't want to make it sound like you were a wizard in a sense. These are energy. It's energy that you tap into. And that was before permanent powers came along. So, yeah, the phrasing of it is very true, you know. And this is one of the reasons why I talk about this on these streams, is because it brings up something that you don't often hear is you don't often read things out when you're designing it, but when you try and discuss it or talk about it, it highlights the flaws. So in a sense, it may be that I alter those. I might alter the terminology because it's a bit confusing. So, but that never stopped J.R.R. Martin calling all his characters virtually the same name. That was confusing. Right, okay. So I think that pretty much sets out where we're at. Now, I have also been... What is this one doing now? We want this to go back. You won't go back. Why won't you go back? We will delete you instead. So I've also been working on the Wild West Marshal. That's in a pretty good state. It's not in any state to read yet, but it's feeling positive. I've got the hand-to-hand combat pretty much down. Obviously before testing, so it's the first draft. Oh, good. Thank you, Blah. Blah says he thinks the design sounds very fun. Blah, I assume, is a chap. It could be a girl. So, I pretty much assume that. Oh, I can see my avatar up there. Right. Oh, yes. Yeah, in the list here, it shows, I think, the most active, or I don't know what order this is in. There you are. And there's Jeff, there's David, Scott. Is that Jesse? Who else have we got? How is that? The cat's here. Oh yeah, she's gone out again. She came in. I didn't even notice. I would have kept her in. She's gone back out again. Yeah. So what was I talking about? Sorry. Yeah, we got 5.2k members. It's fantastic. Mark, yes. Thankfully, my ruin of a Fizzog isn't on show. Well, that's fine. All right. What I was going to do is have a look at this, and someone, Joe Lizowski, has put up a comment on there. We'll look at that later. Right, so I put up a couple of polls on here. Question 1 we want, don't we? Question 1. What have we got here? Okay, so this one clearly didn't generate as much interest, but I thought it might be interesting to have a look at these. So, question 1. Do you play fewer tabletop games in the summer? Have our characters lost their god buffs that provide immunity to... Yes, they have. Mark says no. Would you mean the... do you mean the pendants of immunity? Is that the one? Because when you enter the dungeon, the Legendary Dungeon, it's a different situation. That one I probably haven't highlighted in the text, so that is a good... So with this poll, sorry, I slightly distracted there. We have... Do you play fewer games in the summer? And we've got 22 votes on this one, but 69% say no. And I need to have a look at that. And we've got a couple of comments on here. We've got oh, it's not helpful. James, our man James, says, I don't think season really affects things for me. I don't play very much at any time of year. Yeah, Jeff, I need to think about that. I need to have a look at that. We need to go into the dungeon with a kind of clean slate, I think, to a certain extent. Otherwise, there may be some, maybe OP, given the certain situations. But I'll have a look at that. Right, Mario brings that a good point here. As friends are in vacation and travelling in general, yes, there's fewer games than during autumn and winter. See, that is a good point. The people you play these games with may well be off on their travels somewhere. Like a couple of our friends who are from Italy, they always head off to. In fact, we're seeing them soon. But they head off to Italy during the summer for a few weeks, so we don't get to play games with them then. So I guess that's true. But I do enjoy playing a game outside in the sun. So we lay it out on the table out there, and yeah, that works a treat. So, so for me, it's a no. As you can see, I've selected no there. But I think that's definitely, people kind of cite the summer as a time when people sell less games. But I haven't found that to be the case at all, actually. So that was the first poll. What else have we got here? Second one is here. Now this one had slightly more. I didn't give a lot of these. I didn't give a lot. Yeah. Sorry, Mark. A lot, but that's included in this poll. Do you play more during the summer or more in the? It can be solo. It can be with your friends. I guess either way. Some people will play games on their holidays, won't they? So. Yeah, that's true. 6 weeks summer holiday, possibly more time to play if you have a younger family. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to look at stats and figures for a small business like myself, like our business. You know, why sales may fluctuate or change depending on. We haven't really found that sales drop during the summer. If anything, it's the beginning of the year. Okay, so we have are you currently backing more than 3 Kickstarters? Question 2. Maybe the spectral energy blocks some of. Often too windy to play games outside. That's a good point. Yeah, we've had a few issues with that ourselves. It has been windy lately, actually. So this one was of interest to me. Are you currently backing more than 3 Kickstarters? And of course, someone added down here. Where we got Clive put a comment in. I've reduced how many Kickstarters I back in the last 12 months and support very specific creators now. So right now, I'm only waiting on 7 Kickstarter projects to fulfill. Yeah. See, it's the wait, isn't it? It's the wait. That's Clive's. That's a good comment there. Mario James says, if you mean campaigns currently running and collecting funds, then no. I only have 1 Kickstarter in that stage right now. Backed it earlier today when it launched. If you mean total number of campaigns backed and not yet fulfilled, so still wanting on rewards, then yes, a lot more than 3. See, this is the, I haven't basically stipulated too clearly what I mean by this question. And Mark says he's lost track of how many Kickstarters he might be backing. That's what Kickstarter projects hope, actually. I think people kind of in their minds, they're like, well, we want a bit more time here, so we hope people don't remember that they've backed the Kickstarter and given us their money. Easy to track because delivery is spread out. Yeah, it's so true. But I think generally, and this is interesting. So it says, are you currently backing more than 3 Kickstarters? So in my mind, it was like, are you actually backing at the moment rather than being fulfilled? So 60% is a no. So that's quite high. I mean, there's only 34 votes here, but 60% of people have said that they're backing less than 3 Kickstarters. So that is slightly concerning. Strange noise out there. Let's hope my number 1 daughter doesn't appear at the door again. Right. So, and Mario, thank you for these comments, Mario. Similar as James and Clive, actually backing 2 that are in collection phase while having several pending for delivery in various stages of completion. Yeah, that seems to be the case. Yeah, Jeff, this is a good point. I've been in this situation. I backed a Kickstarter a while back, and it just appeared, and I had just completely forgotten I backed it. So I backed this one on Kickstarter. Haven't even got it out of the box yet. Worm. So it is tricky, but it is nice when something turns up. I backed Altered as well, Ashes recently. I just got a notification for that one. I've added something else onto that as well. Some card games. I like card games. I like to play card games with my eldest daughter. So there's that side of it as well. So, to be honest, Matt says too many games are waiting, so only backing expansions to games I already have. Okay, I think at this point that's not a bad idea. I think you've got to try. I think you should try and. I think it's sticking with creators, isn't it? Try and back creators for me, but also indie creators as well. And I do a mix. Like I do big companies, small companies. It really does sort of depends. My shelf space is at a premium now, says Mark. Yeah, well, so is my floor space, unfortunately. Talahar says, I think at this point I only have 2 or 3 projects ongoing, waiting for delivery. All of them video games, so who knows? Never backed a video game. That's an interesting idea. So, do they fulfill it through Steam? Is that how they're doing that one, Talahar? But one big board game on GameFound. That's that. Yeah. Yeah. I've never really used the other platforms. I've kind of always stuck with. Yeah, that's a good point. Jeff says, aren't board games more risky? I guess. I don't know at the moment with the way the board game industry is kind of going, all this diamond business and the fulfillment and all that. UK games will always get a closer look for backing. Lol. Yeah, there was recently a fighting fantasy one. I think David, did you back that one? I know Jeff, you were thinking about it. And but I sort of looked at that and I thought, they could do something really good with the fighting fantasy. Now I know that they've got some stuff based around the design, which we've looked at before. Some of the other books, the fighting fantasy art, and then we've got the Dice Men history. It would be nice if they did like a special edition of, say, the first 5 fighting fantasy books, or first 6, that were plush, really nice books. Paul says 1 graphic novel, 1 set of books, and Legendary Dungeon. Also 1 video project. Ooh. Mark says video games tend to go to early access, then suddenly never get finished or take years to complete, and that's true. I was a big fan of Daisy. Daisy Standalone, and I played that for many years, and I enjoyed the fact that it wasn't finished, and that they would release patches and updates, and it'd always be fun to go in and check out what the latest update was. Blast says 26 Dungeon was actually my first time using Kickstarter, done a few more since, so it got me started. Well, that's great. I think Kickstarter's a wonderful platform. I know that some people talk it down, but it's not Kickstarter that is the cause of those issues. It's the companies that set unrealistic goals or add in stupid add-ons that cost them the earth and then bankrupt the country, their company. So, Talar says, yeah, video games are more risky, but most every and all projects can fail. Usually get a Steam code, but there's also GOG and Humble Bundle. Okay. Yeah, getting a Steam code seems good. It seems too pricey when you get to the books on Amazon already. Mark says, I've backed the Fighting Fantasy board game. It's been a bit delayed as I think Ian Livingstone requested some amendments. Ooh, that's a bit of juicy gossip there, Mark. I like that. I have to look that up. Yeah, I have to find out a bit more about that. I have to admit, I did see the Fighting Fantasy board game at Fighting Fantasy Fest last year, and I wasn't impressed. But that's not to say I won't buy it once they've gone through some testing. But I just felt like there could be more in it. I felt like maybe the graphics were a bit simple. So we'll see. So I'm going to find out more about that, Mark. That sounds interesting. David says, Realm was my first Kickstarter. Is that right? My first Kickstarter was Car Wars Classic Arena. I did not end up really using it, and they came out with 6th edition and a different scale. What? Wow. That's a bit off, isn't it? Jeff, did you play Dark Future? It's one of my favourite games. I haven't played it for a while now. It's got some of my favourite memories, put it that way. I'd like to play that with you. That would be cool. Meet up with my mate Jeff and play a game of Dark Future. It's like a car game. It might be a bit big to bring over to America, unfortunately. I think it was mainly the box art that Ian wanted. Oh, I tend to agree. See? I agree. I was telling you it's the art. I thought it was a little bit simple, a bit white. Just white. Needs to be in your face, surely. So the third poll was a little bit indulgent. But I thought, what the hell? And maybe I did this partly for awareness as well. There's a Dark Future video game. I only played that, and it's okay, I guess. Single player, shrug. Yeah, I played the once they talked a lot. They got the rights, didn't they? The company got the rights to the game, and then they created it. And actually, it was pretty good. I liked it. They had a bit of a Fallout feel to it, a bit of a retro kind of sense to the map and how they laid out some of the graphics. So, but I quite enjoyed playing that. Yeah, that was quite good. No, but I remember Car Wars from way back, classic. Took forever to play, so 6th edition and streamlined things. I end up buying things and not having time to play. Yeah, don't we all, mate? Don't we all? Like, I was toying with the idea of using Dark Future rules and the Car Wars layout so it doesn't take up so much room. That's an interesting idea. Exploding cars are always good, adds Talahar. Thank you, Talahar. So the third poll was, which of these DR games have you played? And you could select multiple choice. I should have put that in there, where you can click multiple choice. But it was interesting to see. and also to make people aware of some of the other games. There are some other ones like War Within and Drop Pods, but they're a bit more obscure. Obviously 50%. See, it's spread it out, unfortunately. I should have put in the title. Melee has put here, I didn't know there were other games. I just checked Alien Sanctuary and guess I'll buy it next. Well, thank you, my friend. That's very cool of you. How do we have here? Yes. Oh, God. Don't worry if you haven't actually ended up playing all of them, but if you've got them. But this was just interesting to see that Radzone and IST, although Radzone's been out much longer, are virtually the same. So IST has been popular. It is a cheaper game, but it's definitely something that sorry, my phone was just doing something. Mark, I agree with you. There was something disappointing about it, but I still found the gameplay pretty cool. Only Dungeon and IST don't have the others, right? Yeah, so that was just a little bit indulgent to sort of see what people, whether they picked that up. Dark Force Incursion is an older game. It's a solitaire hex-based game, but that sort of kickstarted a lot of what this all is. Yeah, there you go. Fantastic. Felicia, how are you doing? I would like to play Trade Nation. I've got a copy of Trade Nation here to show you. Where have I got a copy? I usually have a copy around. Bear with me a sec. So, Trade Nation. It's a double. It's a double. It's a double deck of cards that. It's got a little rule book in it, and there are products. There are 6 types of product. Ale, and then you've got prices and quick sales, and you basically lay out like a market in the middle of the table. It's a family game, and you can adjust the price of the goods, and then you sell groups of 3, and you make money, and you get points, and you can adjust the price by putting down numbers, and there's lots of stuff in there like that. Hey Sam, how you doing? I hear you, Jeff. The problem with Trade Nation is that you need other people to play it. That is a thing indeed. That is very true. Yeah, it works well. You can. I obviously would say that. But you can combine. You can put 2 decks together. You can play it. There's I played it with 6, 10 players, and it worked a treat. I used to play this all the time when I was a teacher. I designed this while I was teaching, and I used to play it all the time. Must have played about 200 games of this during lunch breaks with the kids. It has a bit of maths in it. It has strategy. You know, you can gazump people by lowering the price of things. So yeah, that's it's got a medieval theme to it, because you're trading on a market. There's a black market, and anyway, yeah. Well, you just need to start the DR Games Con. Meet up once a year and go at it. Yeah. Dark Force Incursion is fun, does not take up a lot of space, and is a kind of nice distraction. Very simple setup. Minimal requirements. Thank you, Jeff. Want to see other maps? Yeah, there is that side of it. Julian, good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm enjoying it, and then we've got so many things coming up. As I say, we've got the expansion for IST, which is the Galaxy expansion, which is coming on. Chipping away on that alongside Wild West Marshall. So we're going to have 2 more games come out in the next few months, and that's going to be around the launch, the fulfillment of 2D6 Legendary Dungeon. So we've got like a spurt, I don't know if that's the right word to use, of games to come, which is going to be which is exciting. I'd like to work on a couple of things at the same time, but of course that means it gets spread out a little bit. It can be tricky when you get to the, say I'm writing level 5 at the moment, the last few rooms, you know, I've got to think of what those can be within the theme. So there are challenges. David's around. An influx. Yes, there will be. And then September, October time, we're going to launch 2D6 Void. So the big sci-fi edition of 2D6 Dungeon. So that's how it's looking. That's where we're at as the year lurches forward. David Day, you've been called out. Julian wants to say hello. And then next year, once we've fulfilled 2D6 Void, which will take us into like towards the summer period, we will then next year we'll be doing 2D6. Maybe it won't take us towards the summer. We'll see with Void. We'll see. I've got to have a little think about that. And then we'll be doing 2D6 Dungeon Goblin Ancestry. So we would have done the 3 core Dungeon, Realm, and Legendary. They're like the 3 core. And then you've got, I'm going to start doing Ancestries over the next few years. So we'll have Goblin Ancestry. We'll have Monster Ancestry. Maybe something. There'll be other types of creature that we can incorporate. I haven't thought too much about that though yet. I was getting root beer. Julian's called you out. He says hello. Yeah, so exciting times. Very much exciting times. I've been doing a little bit of writing for some other projects for people. People have asked me to help them with some things, and I work with some other projects, and I don't at this stage call them out because it's a bit of a distraction for them. But yeah, I've been doing some other bits and pieces, and of course, the home life as well has been a distraction the last 6 months because my eldest two haven't had work, but now they are both full-time employed. So I am freed up, and that's going to free up over a weekly period. It's going to free up things, and a few hours and some distractions. So I've got more focus, if you get what I'm saying. Fax me some of that beer, will you? Julian says. You need to have your beverage ready before the stream starts. Yes, David. Jeff's told you. Schoolboy error. Yeah. And I did, Jeff. But it's hot as hell. I think hell would be a lot hotter than this. Yeah. Fantastic. Another thing that takes up a lot of time is getting the art organised for the monsters, doing the creature cards as well. That's a whole another pain in the proverbial. So there's that side of things as well. If anything, that would be the thing that drags it out. It was 37 degrees last week here in Tuscany. That's pretty hot, Julian. Pretty hot. Rookie move, Jess says. Yeah. Guys. So, I think that's probably it for tonight. There's not anything else that I really want to cover. We've had a quick look at some of those updates for 2.6 Legendary Dungeon. And no gossip. I've had my head down really trying to get these things done. So, and hopefully we'll see the fruits of my labour soon. Blimey. Thank you, Matt. Matt says, remember to like and subscribe. It's the mugginess here that does me. My ceiling fan over the bed has just been earning its money recently. That's a good idea, getting a ceiling fan over your bed. I've mentioned this a few times. When we lived in Australia, we had a fan over the bed, and it was gorgeous. Jeff adds in here, really likes the permanent powers being added. I think that's a game changer. Progression, power, yeah, definitely. So pleased with how that's going. We've got to go through a whole bunch of some more testing, but the nice thing is it won't need as much testing as when we first created the game, because a lot of the core stuff works. The map generation. Just some little tweaks here and there. So we won't have to have an extended testing period. We can just get it out there. Yeah. Yes, Mark, we will. Yeah. But, someone mentioned back there the DR Games Con. That's not an entire impossibility, because my brother is very interested in running events. So there may well be something in the future where there is some kind of con that we organise, or some kind of get together, or I'm involved with it in some way or another. So there is always that possibility. We'll have to see how that goes. So guys, I'm going to say goodnight there, and you have a venue. I'm sure I have a venue, Matt says. Elaine, how are you doing? A con? Watch me come to England. Englander. Well, yeah, it would only be a little. It would only be a small con. Looking forward to Void. Very fun to join in these chats. Yeah, it's been fun. Really nice to catch up. Well, getting over to the UK from Germany is certainly a possibility. No, thanks for the updates. No problem, guys. Thanks, Elaine. Make sure to check out the Buck Moon tonight. It looks huge. Did you see the Strawberry Moon last month, though, David? That was amazing. Night all, stay cool, yep. Night all, stay cool. The Poet Mark signs off. Take care all. If there's a DR Games Con, I will do everything I can to get there. Yes, fantastic. Well, Jeff, you'll be organising it with me, so you've got no option. Yeah, good to chat, guys. I will catch up with you very soon. Take care. Have a great weekend. Think of me at a beautiful English countryside at a wedding in 30 degrees heat. It's going to be fantastic. All right, guys, you take care, and I will catch up.